the easy way or the not so easy way. Welcome to the Cobra Pit, whether you're a longtime viewer or a newer subscriber like Rick Edwards. I see you. I appreciate every single one of you. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. Now, I've been going back and forth in my head. Should I get caliper covers or paint my calipers? Now, there's pros and cons to both ways, and you have to figure out what works best for you. But I will start with, you need a lot of tools and components to even get started doing this on your own. Now, you can pay to do this. I've heard prices range from $500 up to $1,200. It's up to you. But if you already have some of these things at home or you plan on working on your car in the future, this might be something that you want to do. Now, to do either one of these, you have to remove the tire. So you need a low profile jack. And if you're doing this on a Tesla, you need these jack stand pads or pucks. This will help protect your battery when lifting the car. Of course, you're gonna need the proper tool, the proper size socket. Having a torque wrench, make sure you tighten it back to spec and then you're good to go. Now, there's pros and cons to both. The biggest pro is, this is the easiest one to install. They just have these little fasteners on the back right here. And once you get this on, they fasten pretty tightly. They give you all the included tools. I got mine from Arrowham, where I got lots of other car parts and it's top quality. So if you're thinking about using these, this is the easiest install. One of the cons of doing this is that, yes, it is an additional part. Some people say that it retains heat, but from when I read on forums, it doesn't really retain as much heat as you would think. One of the biggest cons is it is another attachment, and if something comes loose, I guess it can dangle a little bit. And they look a lot bigger and they do stand out. One of the pros of painting it is it's a cleaner install. There's multiple colors you could choose from, and if you can actually do a hand painting, I think there's some companies that you can actually choose the exact color you want. Now, one of the biggest cons of painting them, it's a process. It's a long process, and you have to do a lot of prep work beforehand. You got to have your wheels up for a lot longer. It takes more time. There's more room for error. But overall, it looks clean. So there's pros and cons to both. You have to decide, do you want to quick on and off right here? Or do you want to spend more time, add a little more detail? You want to go here. Now, if you're thinking about selling your car or trading it in, then you might want to put a cover on there. That way you can easily remove it and the car can look stock just as new. Speaking of selling your vehicle, I'm pretty sure that you want to get the most money that you can for it. That's where our sponsor Recurrent comes in. The people who brings the free and secure monthly battery health monitoring report has launched a new tool to help you command much higher value based on your battery health. EVs are very different from traditional cars, and they shouldn't be solely evaluated on the odometer reading. You have to know the health of the battery. If you sign up for Recurrent, you can monitor your charging habits, projected range, and current battery health. Then, at the bare minimum, you can use the data as part of your selling process. Or you could take it a step further and have them match you with dealerships that place a premium on good batteries. Now, I ran my VIN through the system to see what my car is worth, and it's definitely more than I would get otherwise. Once you factor in the battery health, and if you keep your battery looking good, you should get more for your car. Recurrent has seen enough data points from its community of over 10,000 cars to make a pretty precise set of range predictions. They base it on the car's make, model, year, battery pack configuration, odometer, location history, and recall status, all of which they can derive from the VIN. Once again, for free. For more information, click the link in the description. So when it came time for me to decide, am I going to paint or just add the caliper covers, I had to make sure I had everything laid out. You can see the different parts here, right? For the caliper covers, everything's included in a box. If I'm going to paint it, I had to have a gloss paint. I had to have the color painted I want. I ended up getting a brake cleaner, and I used it for both anyway. So if you're going to remove everything, remove your tire and stuff like that, you might as well clean the brakes before you do anything to it anyway. And also, I want to make sure I cleaned the brake pretty good. So I had this attachment for the drill. I went ahead and used this. It actually did speed up the process. So first thing first, I had to loosen the lug nuts. Now make sure you do this when the car is on the ground. That way you have some resistance when you're trying to remove them. Then you want to get your jack stand pucks and place them in the little hole here at the bottom. Then you line up your low profile jack and go ahead and pump it up. Once you get it off the ground, remove your tire. I had to go and borrow a jack from my neighbor because once I got one side up and I painted it, I was like, okay, am I just gonna wait for this to dry? Nah, I borrowed my neighbor's and I jacked up the other side and then did that one simultaneously. So it did save me some time, but you can't do one at a time. So the first thing I did was I went ahead and I cleaned off the brake, sprayed it, dusted it. Now my Tesla is over 2 years old, but we don't use the brakes that much, so they're not really that dirty. And yours probably will look the same if you're doing this on a Tesla. But now with the caliper covers, you just put them on. Now you can see the size here. They are larger because they're going over the caliper, right? But as you can see, it's a little bit bigger. Now some people like this look, some people don't. But you put it on, it's pretty easy, and that's it. You make sure it's tight, and that's it. It looks good to go. Then you could add your included Tesla sticker at the end. That's it. But what about painting? Oh, okay. So it's all in the prep work. Once you remove the wheel, now you're using painter's tape. You're masking off all areas you do not want to get paint on, and I mean every little part. Now, this wasn't so bad in the front, but when I got to the back, it was a mess. So many little crevices and spots, but this is where all the hard work is. And then you want to cover the whole back side, and you really want to watch for overspray. So make sure you cover everywhere. I use trash bags, and I also used a cardboard box to kind of get the deflection, the mist or whatever, so it doesn't overspray everywhere. But I didn't really care too much about my floor. My garage floor is already paint here from the previous owner, so I'm going to end up doing something with that later. But it took a long time going masking up the whole area. It did take a while. And then when it comes to the spraying, now we can have a little fun. One coat, one light coat. Make sure you get everywhere you want. Let it dry for about 10 minutes. Then you apply the second coat, a little heavier, right? And then let that dry for 10 minutes. And then go with a third coat. Now I actually did 4 coats, and then I let it dry for about 30 minutes before I applied the sticker. But you want to make sure you go all around that caliper and don't get too close. I did have a little drippage on one of them because I got too close. I went a little heavy, but it's not really noticeable once the wheel is on. It took me about 50 minutes to tape and to spray the first one. It did speed up later because my wife came out and she helped me out, and I mean, she saved me a lot of time by helping me and having that second jack. So, but it took about 50 minutes, and I would say about 50 minutes because you do want to let it dry, and it will completely dry. I use the VHT brand. It will completely dry by morning, and I didn't want to leave this on jack stands all night. Right, I put my tires back on, but I did not dry the car. When it came to the stickers, the first time I lined it up a little crooked and I had to adjust it. So, you know, you want to make sure it's as dry as it can be before you apply the sticker. Everything you need is linked down below in the description. Now, I really like the way the painted caliper looked, and I had all the equipment, and I said, you know what? Since I have everything and I have my wife, I might as well just paint them all, right? Paint them all. And I was like, oh, but I have these caliper covers. Now, honestly, to save a lot of time, I may have just gone with the caliper covers. If I wasn't making this video, I probably wouldn't have painted them. I probably would just stay with the caliper covers. But if you want to save a lot of time and then down the line possibly sell your car or trade it in, or you want to switch it up easily, you know, you can buy different color caliper covers, then you might want to go that route. If you want to have the cleanest look to me is spray painting them. It does take more time. It does take more effort. And if you're going to sell the car later, you either hope somebody likes the color you selected or change the color back to silver. They have silver too, but you know, that's a lot of extra effort because you're going to have to do the same process again. Hey, thanks for watching. You decide what works out best for you. Everything that I use in this video was posted down below and the link to Recurrent. Thanks for watching, and don't forget, Cobra told ya. All right, y'all.